Morning again, and welcome to today's Small Business Mega Event Playbook Workshop. We have a great speaker lineup for you today. You can view the agenda in the chat. We'll begin with a level set from Vaughn Taylor, VP of Economics Development at the Seattle Metro Chamber. Vaughn?
Hello, everyone, and just welcome to the Small Business Mega Event Playbook Workshop. Again, my name is Vaughn Taylor, VP of Economic Development at Seattle Metro Chamber. And here we believe that thriving community depends on thriving business. So first, I just want to thank the local organizing committee, King County, Google, and many local partners supporting our efforts to get businesses ready. As we all know, the FIFA World Cup 26 is a once-in-a-lifetime and generational event that will bring global attention, economic opportunity, and memorable experiences for our Washington residents and visitors. So today's interactive online workshop is designed to help small businesses to prepare now by using our Small Business Mega Event Playbook. It's a practical resource guide helping businesses to stay open, informed, and ready during periods of high demand. Today, we'll focus on three key areas. One would be business readiness, two, day of preparedness, and finally, marketing and promotional. These are strategies that help businesses bring the World Cup experience to their businesses and their communities. And throughout the session, we'll share just simple and actionable checklists, tools from the playbook, and this all will be facilitated by our technical advisors and subject matter experts. So now you'll hear from Joey Agu, who will share insights and travel patterns around this event. And Joey is the SCA visual communicator at Seattle Tacoma International Airport with the Port of Seattle. So for the past year, she has supported FIFA Club World Cup 2025, FIFA World Cup planning at SCA under direction of Julie Collins, which is the airport lead. So with that, I'll turn it over to Joey.
So again, I'm Joey Gu with SCA Airport. Be presenting on what the airport's doing to get ready for World Cup. First, for general awareness, I just wanted to, as you all know, there are a lot of organizing bodies for the World Cup, and the airport is just one of many transit agencies that are preparing to welcome the world. FIFA, of course, is the overarching lead in terms of coordination and logistics for their teams, VIPs, etc. The LOC, including representatives from Visit Seattle, the Seattle Sports Commission, and many others, are the main point of contact between regional partners and FIFA and coordinating regional logistics with agencies like SCA, Sound Transit, and others who are focused primarily on fan movements and safe travel throughout the region. Based on info from the LOC, we're expecting up to 750,000 additional visitors to our region during the tournament, during our already busy summer travel season and cruise season, and an estimated $929 million in economic benefit. We're expecting that international travelers are going to stay for an average of 9 days in the United States, not just Washington, as they follow teams throughout the tournament. And also noting that there are currently 9 fan zones across Washington state. I'm sure you've seen some iteration of this game schedule, so I won't go over it in great detail, but I just wanted to mention that 3 of the games, specifically June 19th, June 26th, and July 6th, also align with holiday weekends if they're not on a holiday, and all of those are also cruise call days. Regarding fan travel from these countries, our airline scheduling folks here at SCA expect fans from Belgium, Australia, and Qatar, especially where charter businesses are starting to offer packages for fans, starting to number in the thousands for Qatar specifically. But we're also noting that there are current visa restrictions on Iranian travelers. And also wanted to note that it is still too early to know for sure how many folks are coming from each country, especially the unknown European team that will be in the playoffs that we'll know by March, and for the teams in the rounds of 32 and 16. So more to come on those. Here at the port, we're also mindful of the impact of cruise travelers arriving downtown at the piers and also the airport during this time, noting that cruise season is from April through October of this year, and we're expecting over 2 million cruise passengers during that time. There are 330 scheduled cruise calls, meaning arrivals and departures, over this 2026 season. And over half of these passengers stay overnight, meaning they may be frequenting small businesses around these cruise days. Based on the FIFA team draw that took place in December, we had some initial observations here at the airport and their updated match schedule, noting that most of the games take place midday around 12 or 1 p.m. that thankfully avoid commuting rush hours in the mornings and evenings. We're also working closely with our airport coordination folks here to accommodate the large number of private jets we'll be expecting. The match schedule itself also allows for not only teams, but also fans to follow along the West Coast as the teams move forward in the tournament, whether that be by car to Vancouver or plane to LAX. As we see on the right, we just have a list of the different West Coast games taking place here, Vancouver, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, and we're expecting a lot of cross travel between them, especially here and Vancouver. We're also aware of after the match schedule was announced, the Iranian and Egyptian associations made formal complaints to FIFA on being scheduled on what the LOC scheduled as the Pride match on June 26th, being it is on Pride weekend. So we're aware of that and watching issues around that. We've also gained some clarity around language needs and what languages we want to keep in mind for digital translations and signage here at the airport, given the countries coming to Seattle. Regarding flight volumes and increasing service, of the international carriers, so far only Volaris has confirmed an additional flight during the tournament between SCA and GDL in Mexico from June 1st through July 31st. Other international carriers like Qatar and Vancouver they have the potential to add flights, but nothing has been confirmed as of yet. Regarding domestic carriers, United, Alaska, and American Airlines are all potentially discussing adding flights and seats between West Coast airports like SFO, LAX, in addition to Kansas City. And we'll know more solid numbers 90 days out from the tournament, as that's when our airline scheduling folks receive requests and those actual numbers. And regarding hotel rooms and tickets purchased, we'd defer to the LOC and Visit Seattle, as they would have more concrete information on those hospitality related subjects. Speaking of Visit Seattle, they created the wonderful FWC 26 community brand for the LSE as a cousin to FIFA branding that businesses, partners, and organizations like the airport can use to welcome the world. Here at SEA will be using it to address the airport, build excitement, and create that seamless experience from gate to game. Gate to Game also happens to be the name of a waste management campaign. We're partnering with Seattle Public Utilities to create community branded signage using this brand for waste receptacles and waste prevention messaging here at the airport and also in downtown. This brand itself will also be on print and digital signage. We're hoping to translate into various languages, like we noted before. And I believe there's a later breakout room to discuss the community brand and its possible uses later, so stay tuned for that. Also noting that the tournament will heavily impact road closures and traffic during match days, especially, noting that there'll be increased international travel between here and Vancouver. There's the Blue Jays versus Mariners games July 3rd through 5th. And on match day specifically, they will be closing down streets in a perimeter for safety around the stadium. And so people can only access by foot in these areas around the stadium, and also rideshare, Uber, Lyft will not be able to access these areas and will have to be dropped off further from the stadium than people may be expecting. So we're working really closely with our public transit agencies, Sun Transit, King County Metro, and others to push the use of public transit during tournament times and help people be aware of the closures and how to get to the games from whatever the region they're coming from. And just also wanted to note these closures primarily impact the Seattle area around the stadium specifically. And we recommend checking in with your local transit agencies for changes to service that you may see if you're not in this downtown corridor. Finally, here at SCA, we're working on language access through our digital signage and Know Before You Go campaigns to equip travelers with as much information as we can give them before landing in Seattle so they feel equipped to navigate the airport and also get downtown and to the stadium for their games. We're also wrapping up several large capital projects to better the passenger experience, like our Sea Concourse expansion opening this year and several checkpoint reopenings that have taken place last year. We're also working with Sound Transit and King County Metro, specifically on a wayfinding video for navigating the airport to get to bus and light rail stops specifically. Also promoting the use of public transit as much as we can, as well as we'll be having several interactive terminal activations for people traveling through the airport this time, whether you're here for FIFA or not, as well as FIFA-themed advertising, sponsored advertising. That's all from me. Happy to take any questions. And thanks for having me at your webinar.
Thank you, Vaughn and Joey. So now we'll move into the breakout room segment. We'll open 3 breakout rooms, each focused on a different phase of preparing for and navigating major events.
So I can start. My name is Eduardo Rojas. I work at the Seattle Office of Economic Development. It's a department within the city of Seattle. So I'm most aware of the permits and regulations and departments within the city of Seattle. And I'll pass it over to Supo.
Great, thank you so much, Eduardo. So my name is Supo. I lead the Seattle office for the Washington Small Business Development Center. We provide free taxpayer-funded technical support to small businesses, one-on-one advising throughout the state. So we support about 3,000 to 4,000 business owners every single year. So we are one of the partners that have been kind of providing feedback on the guide and the playbooks, as well as, of course, partnering with City of Seattle and other cities in the greater Seattle area to advise business owners to best prepare for the upcoming mega event. Part of the considerations that I think business owners need to realize is definitely around what are the different considerations for the permitting that might be needed. A lot of business owners that at least the SBC advise don't realize that there are actually extra permitting requirements needed throughout this process. But as you see, kind of these are the main topics that the guide talks about. We are, and throughout it, the committee really tried to incorporate some real world case studies, especially from this past year where there was kind of a practice, World Cup like event, and making sure that there are something that's more practical and more actionable for business owners to take out of this. But definitely, I think overall, it is kind of an overarching overview from a more bird's eye level. So there are also resources within this that are listed, and then we kind of scroll down as we go on. Resources that are listed that hopefully will lead you to be able to start talking to some folks and connecting with resources in order to get more tailored advising for your specific case. Eduardo, is there anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add.
Cool. In the meantime, I also want to point out too, throughout the playbook, there's a lot of checklists. These might be helpful for both you as business owners and as well as your team to kind of go through and discuss about what items might be applicable to your particular business. So, throughout all this, a lot of checklists. It might feel a bit like you're doing something for the IRS or tax time, but there's a lot of really good information for what to keep in mind. And let me kind of keep on scrolling through. So a few things that maybe I want to point to as well is both from the business management and the technology. One of the more common mistakes and miscalculation that I see for business owners preparing for such a large event is that you're being too optimistic about the influx of customers that might be coming in. So there's something to keep in mind for sure about planning properly and making sure that you are not over investing in whether it's technology upgrade or capacity upgrade, hiring more folks, there are certain fixed costs that I think we get really excited, but just keep in mind, the World Cup is a relatively short amount of time in your business lifespan, and be prepared, but ideally not too optimistic where you are kind of digging yourself into a deep hole and it might not pan out. So balancing those two considerations would be important as you and your team think about how to best prepare for the upcoming World Cup.
Yeah, and I can add something to that, Supo. It's really hard to get this right. You want to staff enough that you're going to be well supported through hopefully a surge, but you also don't want to have extra staff around or extra inventory. We'll go through some of the specific recommendations there, but what I recommend for folks to do is think back and make a log of all the special events that you might have been affected in your area. And if you're new to the space that you're in, talk with your neighbors and kind of get a sense of what their experience was. Similarly, talk to other folks in other areas that might have experienced an event that caused some surge to get their experience on it and any recommendations that they might have. Just to kind of use that experience and apply it in your own specific neighborhood.
Yeah. That's well said, Eduardo. And I think there are within these as well. There are, as you're kind of starting to see, resources for other trainings and webinars and things that might be more specific to your industry, and things that hopefully you're able to connect to and utilize in order to, if you have specific questions about how do you predict demand, then maybe you want to chat with a business advisor. How do you kind of prepare, say, for Impact Washington is a great organization, right? For supply chain disruption, Impact Washington specifically focuses on manufacturing, and they have a lot of expertise in that. So really trying to understand what other resources are out there, and for you as a business owner to ideally reach out and connect with folks so that you're best informed for your specific business and how to best prepare for your business. And then there are, of course, technology. I think one thing to also keep in mind about technology is it's a good opportunity for you as a business owner to consider, those certain technology upgrades that you've been putting off for quite some time. What are those things that, might help you better leverage your current workforce, right? Whether that's a new POS system, a new website potentially, so that it makes it easier for your team to do more with the same amount of capacity. So technology is a great leveraging tool for that as well. This is my favorite organization. This is my favorite section because this is about, of course, business organizational support, which is what the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, we do every day, as well as our partners in the community. So this is full of really good resources as well for you to reach out to, because most of these are either nonprofits or taxpayer-funded organizations that provide essentially no cost and free technical assistance support tailored directly to your business. So if you don't know about these organizations already, highly recommend checking all of them out. And Eduardo, I'm not seeing the chat, so I'm just kind of powering through this. But if folks are having questions, feel free to bring up anything along the ways as well.
Yeah, no questions so far. Just adding on the on organizations, you might be surprised by the extent and amount of organizations that are available out there. That's probably a good prompt for an economic development person in your area to ask them if there's any neighborhood organizations or community-based organizations that I might want to check in with. And I also wanted to say, I think the Washington State Microenterprise Association is, to my understanding, or also known as Evergreen Business Link. I believe it has the most extensive list of organizations that I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think in addition to kind of your economic development department at your local area, your local chamber might actually be organizing something in collaboration with other businesses in your area. So I think it might be time if you're not connected already, to also reach out to your local chamber and see what other efforts that folks are doing in your local area to collaborate and join forces in order to make this happen. And throughout this, of course, this playbook, there are case studies. This is one of them. This is actually one from one for mentioning the SBDC. But there's a lot of I think wealth of knowledge that was put into and thought that was put into creating this playbook. But I think for your particular situation, there's a lot of really great resources that could be advising and guidance that could be tailored directly to your needs and your business. And roles of government. Eduardo, do you want to kind of jump in as I scroll through for roles of government, operations, and support?
Yeah, definitely. I can cover this section. So I think there is multiple layers of government and organization covering this event. So at the highest level, at the federal, includes Homeland Security, TSA. There is a special organization just specifically for the World Cup as well. Going down into the state level, I think the biggest thing that I have is to make sure to cover. The more you know, the better, but it can be also exhausting to look at all these newsletters. One of the tips that I personally have I share with folks is Google Alerts. You can prompt it for specific tags or things, so maybe you can add on a couple of tags that help you probably filter all the huge mountain of news that we get every day. On the state level, there are a couple of links here. I think the biggest one to keep an eye on is the Washington State Department of Transportation. That's probably going to be really major updates, notifications and updates on like what the traffic is, how many folks are coming in, how many if there's any traffic congestions. Revive I-5 will be doing a pause on the Ship Canal Bridge construction project for FIFA, so that'll be a big relief. So that's the biggest thing that I have for there. We can move on to the more local, regional.
Well, I think one thing to mention also to stress is there are, of course, if you need funding in order to implement the strategic changes that you're hoping to implement for your business, the SBA is a good option, as well as, of course, local CDFIs, local lenders, right? Business Impact Northwest, Craft 3, your local credit unions and banks, might be a source of funding as well for loans. One thing to keep in mind, since the event is only a few months away, is that lending and underwriting can take a very long time. So the sooner the better is what I'm hearing from all of our lending partners. Start that process. And folks at, say, the SBDC and Business Impact Northwest and Ventures and all these other free technical assistance programs that are available to you, we have guided a lot of business owners through the lending process. So if you need kind of assistance on how do you apply for one, how do you get ready, reach out to us, and we're more than happy to handhold you through the process as you apply for financing as well.
It's a great plug, Supo. Let me see. So at the state level, the Liquor and Cannabis Board controls your regulatory requirements for managing those liquor and cannabis, basically. So you will be interfacing with them if you have any alcohol or sell any cannabis. On the city side, I am most familiar with for Seattle. However, that can really differ across all the cities. They'll have their own regulations for what you can do and the timelines for that and the application process. This here is the City of Seattle's Office of Economic Development, which I work for. We have a couple of programs that will be really relevant for getting ready for FIFA. We have our own list of resources and partners for capital access. So if you have capital access needs, we're a good and work within the city of Seattle. We're a good place to check in on that. We also, our department has the special events permits office as well. So we can offer guidance for that, and I'll pop in the link for that that office. And then we can also provide guidance on permits that you might need for any other thing. So sometimes that's divided up among all of our different departments, depending on what it covers. So SDOT covers permits for anything that's on the right of way, so anything on the sidewalk, including outdoor dining, cafes, and such. Yeah, we're a good one-stop shop for anything Seattle related, but we have a lot of really good connections here in the chat across other cities as well. Here we're going into some permitting timelines, and this is for basically. Sorry, let me get that link for the special events planning and permitting.
Well, for the feel free to drop that in, Eduardo. And while you're kind of pulling that up, Eduardo will mention how this guide is a lie. Well, it's not a lie, but it's it is underestimating some of these permitting timelines. So it's never too early to start. This is a very, I think, ideal sense of the timeline. But things always pop up. So once again, kind of like financing and lending, it's never too early to get started essentially now, given that it's only a few months away until the big event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what let's pause on here. What I will say, a couple. Our people are always surprised by the length that permits require, so I recommend starting early. There's no harm in starting now. So for example, if you're going to have an outdoor dining structure and you're considering that, I'd recommend doing that well before FIFA comes up. You need to kind of have some trial time to like figure that out operationally with your staff and understand how that's going to work out. Similarly with technology upgrades, right? You don't want to have a new point of sale system, right, as you're getting really busy. Make some time, give yourself some time to buffer in these changes. What I can also say for permits, besides some guidance, I guess, gosh, I have so many Seattle side recommendations, but so definitely reach out to us if you're considering any type of security improvements. We have a fund for that. And others, yeah, I think that's mostly it. Yeah. Shara in the chat asked about can we share anything that we know about expanded alcohol service or fan zones?
I know the city of Seattle submitted their application for HB 1515, along with a couple of other cities that are just getting theirs in. And I think cities are still trying to figure out what that looks like for small businesses and how small businesses will have to apply for some of those apply for the application to get the permit to do the expanded alcohol sales. And so a lot of that stuff is still in the works and being worked out as we speak. But there should be something soon. And I'm sure OED small business navigation team will make sure to get all the updates out to folks as soon as possible. Similarly in Redmond, we just applied for our application and we'll be getting some information out to our small businesses as well.
Thanks, Dominique. Really appreciate that.
Great. And I think I want to leave a lot of time. I think we're kind of at the end of that section. So I'm going to leave time for folks to jump in and, questions, concerns, really what's on your mind as we're approaching the final few months before the mega event.
Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your breakout room with our presenters and found some valuable information during this workshop. So this concludes our small business mega event playbook workshop, and it's your how-to guide for business readiness, day of readiness, and marketing.